Hi everyone, doing this live for the first time. I'm also going to be doing concurrently in Instagram as well.
Series, our episode 2, we have guest.
So I'm trying to get the live going. Be a little patient with me.
Super interesting, and I want all the yoga teachers to hang out there. Let me just add the guest.
Hi,
Hello.
namaste,
Hello and welcome. Namaste.
and
We have
good morning.
good morning. Today is 24th December and we have Santa with us today.
Merry Christmas from Santa. Well, this is Yogi Santa.
Lovely. I just want to do an audio check before we begin. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Everyone watching us, can you hear us clearly, both of us? Yes, no, maybe.
You can also say Merry Christmas to both of us if you can hear us clearly. That's a very interesting way to respond.
Yes, absolutely. Do you think Santa's voice is breaking for you guys a little bit? Because it's breaking for me a little bit.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Let me just switch off
My heart
my
says Merry Christmas.
network. Okay. Let me switch off my.
I lost your voice.
Okay.
You're
Is it
back.
any better now?
Yeah. Better.
Yeah, I think it was taking in via network as well a little bit. So I switched to Wi Fi.
Okay, lovely. Let me welcome you and introduce everyone to Santa. Well, today is episode 2 of Be Transparent, and the series is about yoga teachers being as transparent as possible. And today we have Santa. He goes by the name Yogi Santa, and we all know him by that name, but would love to know his real name also today on this platform that is not heard of a lot. Santa has been teaching for more than 15 years now, and he's been super experienced. And I've been following personally him for a while now, and it's lovely how he has this beautiful presence socially as well as not just socially but also offline that I got to witness personally. So yeah, I'm so happy and excited to have you with me on this episode. And I'm really looking forward to all these conversations and learnings from you in this session.
Wow, that's lovely. Online and offline presence. I got that. It's a very funny thing about my name. And it's called Santanam Sridharan. Yeah. But majority of India and majority of the world don't get that name right. So my friend, when I was in North, he named me as Santa. I was in college in the North in Allahabad. He just named me Santa and I picked it up, and that actually working very well because most of the time my name is called as Shantanu or Sanatan or Santana. All that gets, I mean, I have no problem with all that, but that's not the name. So most of the time it goes in correcting my name, and then I made peace with it after a while. Yeah, every now and then people do get it right, but yeah, I just say it's just Santa, and then. And then, like on third or fourth attempt, they're like, "Oh, it's actually Santanam." Okay. Yes, been teaching for 15 years, but I feel like there's a lot more to learn. I'm like learning constantly. I keep doing every 2 years or 3 years once. I keep attending some form of a workshop or immersive or a teacher training. Teacher training is like a beautiful space for me, and it becomes like a retreat for me. In fact, 5 years back, in one of those teacher training is where I met my now wife, but then friend, Neelam. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot more motivation for you all single people out there to do teacher trainings.
Another motivation. I like that.
Wrong, possibly wrong marketing for yoga teacher training.
I think today's topic is going to cover everything that people have not very been transparent to speak about or not been comfortable to speak about. So I think we're going to break that stereotype today. So I am excited for this.
Yeah, this is such an interesting. When you came up with an idea, I thought, wow, someone is actually willing to be vulnerable enough to say that I don't know this as I don't know, and then asking. And then I thought, like, there may be a lot more people who would need this space because I needed it. See, right now, the space of yoga teaching is blown up so well. I've been witnessing it since 2009, right? So I saw the coming of YouTube, I saw the coming of Instagram, and I'm seeing I saw the level of materials and yoga teachers access available back then, and now it is tremendously improved, especially enter COVID 2020 March onwards. The online space and the accessibility for really good quality yoga teacher worldwide, yoga educators worldwide has improved tremendously. And yeah, it's great that you are actually bringing this up.
Lovely. I actually reached out to Santa a few days back, especially perfectly last week actually, and I asked him that there are a few things that I'm really inspired about, and I would love to learn and hear from you about how you go about it. And exactly those topics are what we are going to address. I'm going to be as vulnerable as I can and openly bombard you with questions, and looking forward to listening from you and getting to understand how it goes for you and how it has been going for you so far. Yes, and for people who don't know, Yogi Santa is known by Yogi Santa, but he has his proper, should I call it a professional page or brand name as Chakra Project. He goes by the brand name, which is Chakra Project. So, would you like to explain a little bit about Chakra Project and why it is Chakra Project?
Yeah, I've always been this guy. It's very interesting, their name etymology. Every now and then, I know it sounds a little bit pretentious sometimes, but then sometimes I'm like, no, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of people come back and say, yeah, it makes sense. At least in my heart, it makes sense. So I'm gonna stick to it, which is I've always been driven by the ancient and scriptural nature of what yoga can give. Things like, ancient yogis doing tapas and then building resilience, building sthirta. And also, I was very contemporary. I'm always driven by the modern stuff, the modern gurus, the YouTube gurus. I relate to them a lot. Kind of like as I start learning more and more, and I started going into the, I started coaching people as well, and lifestyle coaching as well, yoga lifestyle coaching. And then I realized that I bridge these two gaps very well. And in 2013, um, by the way, I work with someone. It's a good company. It's a beautiful team. For 4 years, I trained under them. I got a lot of lessons. In 2013, I quit that and I backpacked for like 5 months, roamed around throughout the India from north to south with pretty much no money. And in between, there was a little bit of intervention session by my parents on my brother's rooftop. I still remember it was in Bangalore. I'm like, what are you doing with life? The sad part was I didn't know how to explain it. I just know in my heart there is a longing, and that's why I can relate to people when they say, "No, I don't know how to explain it, but this is a longing that I have, and I want to do something meaningful." So I can relate to it when people say that. So somewhere I knew that I didn't want to get pressurized into coming up with an answer. I'm the second son, so there is like little more load off, thanks to my brother. So at some point of time, I just gave an answer to my parents, the best that I could, and then I moved on traveling. And then at some point, I asked my brother, "Listen, I don't have money. What do I do?" I was somewhere in Dharamshala, I think. Then he's like, "I'm going to send you some money. Just do what you need to do." So we have this equation where I just ask him money, he gives. I ask him money, he gives. It's not the other way around.
Perfect.
Such a balanced equation, no? I ask
The
him, he
benefit of
gives.
being the younger one.
Yeah, and well, I would like to think that it is reduced right now. We have to see the account balance and see if I still have to return it. But anyway, he was like, just go ahead, travel some more if you want to, because maybe somewhere deep down he realized that, yeah, I mean, you need to do these things. We had these long conversations about many things on personal development also and stuff. At that time, when I was traveling with a friend, she said, "Yeah, why don't you go back to Bangalore? Is your safe zone. Mumbai is your discomfort area. Go for it." And then I came up with this idea because the idea of chakras always fascinated me. Like, mastering and working on those chakras. Somewhere, to some days, certain times, I can actually access them. I can go to the deeper aspect, the subtler aspect, and some days it's just not available to me at all. So, and at the same time, there is this beautiful concept called abhyasa and vairagya. Vairagya is this passion. So you gotta complete it and then get rid of it and go. Complete and get rid of it and go. That's the whole idea of this. Like, you gotta get involved with prakriti, with the creation world, but again detached from it. So that's where the real maturity lies. So that's where the idea of project came in picture. Project emphasizes an end point is there. All right. Chakra project, every time I look at it, I always remember these two aspects, which is, again, project is a very contemporary term, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
I'm like both one feet in like the really ancient scriptural aspect, like chakra. It can't get any ancient than that. It can't get more yogic than that. It's like a constant reminder to me, why am I doing what am I doing? And then the project, as in everything is going to end. Everything needs to have this thing. I need to have a little bit of sense of detachment with everything. So it kind of keeps reminding me of it. And then and a lot of things inside of Chakra Project also, we do this. It's a beautiful community of practitioners. It started with one person taking a um, pity on me, saying that, hey, listen, okay, fine, I'll do yoga, I'll learn yoga with you. I mean, at the time, that's all I could say. It's like, wow, someone trusted me, he's learning. And then one became two, became three, became five, and now it's like a huge community of about 70, 80 odd active, maybe 100 odd active practitioners, and about 300 odd inactive, but those are in the community and then constantly in touch. And now Instagram has got like some 13,000 followers community, of which, let's say, at least 10,000 are kind of like active and taking value from me, I'm assuming. Yeah. So that's how it has come to, and it was started in 2013. Now it's come till 2023, 10 years. Wow, thanks
Wow.
for asking this.
That is a journey. Beautiful road. I mean, when someone, I don't know about someone else, but when I look at Chakra Project, I couldn't think of so much thought being put behind just these two beautiful words, Chakra Project. So thank you for breaking it down for me. It's interesting. And it's also beautiful to people to understand that everything that you see out there, there's some other thought behind it. There's some other intentional, mindful thought behind it. So that's beautiful.
Even if it
Also,
isn't
it's
there at the
amazing.
start, you can always build it and make it more intentional and more meaningful, because motivationally speaking, for all of us, why we do what we do matters. And as and when the why gets deeper, the less effort we have to do in getting things done. It just happens. Universe makes it happen for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to directly start bombarding you with some questions that I'm so excited after listening from the numbers that I just got from you, and it's so amazing. Like, it's beautiful. I've seen you. I think we've been following each other for a while to see how we've been doing constant uploads and stuff. But I want to understand that you got yourself so deep into social media right now, and you're doing so amazing that you can see the response also from the people, because some people think it's a fluke. You upload some stuff and then you go viral, and it does work for some people, but you realize that viral that you go, I will say from my personal experience, the numbers that you get on your followers are black numbers. They're like dead numbers. They are just numbers doing nothing to you in return. They'll be there with no interaction, no engagement, and you'll just have numbers. In your class, you might not have those number of students. You might not even have 1% of those students. So I can see it when it gradually works, when you're really putting that hard work into the process, you see it happening for you. So what is your inspiration? How did you choose to go about it? Because it can be a draining process. It can be a demanding process in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
See, I have been speaking to quite a few people now, in the realm of yoga content creation and otherwise also. Um, I know how much of hard work it can be, how much of, leave alone the fact that you have to get comfortable sharing yourself out there, because you're gonna be, whether they're gonna judge you or not, you are going to, in your head you're thinking that people are going to judge you, and then on top of it, like your friends, your family, um, people you don't know, you still don't worry so much about it. The people that you know, that's the worry you have about how they perceive, and you're going to break it. Are you going to come across as dumb? Are you come across as shallow? This was my major thing. And then somewhere I'm like, this is me, this is me, let me put myself out there, I'll take it. Like, this is where I even like found you very vulnerable and honest, and it's amazing the way you do too. I like that as well, that particular thing. Number two is all about logistically how you do it. People think that we have to create like massive amount of, see, I'm known to speak in a span of like February to, I think, 10 months, I brought it from 2k or 2.5 to 12.5. So 10k followers have increased. There are a lot more people who've done a lot more better results. They should speak about it. But from my little knowledge, whatever I'll say, you don't need to do anything major. Once you cross that barrier of wanting to post, all you have to do is just shoot something, anything, and just post something, anything, because you're not going to inspire every single one, but there are some people who are only going to resonate with what you got to say. They're not going to resonate with me, they're not going to resonate with your teacher, your teacher's teacher, they're not going to resonate with anyone else, because your unique take is all that they can resonate with, and that's what they need. You have to have faith in that, and just jump in, create a process, and stick to it like life depends upon it. This is something I'm sort of good at, and I inculcate with my students as well. I think I pride myself on this. I break down bigger goal into smallest possible process, which I know I can sustain, and then I stick to it. So when I was talking to RCP as well, I was talking to you as well, and a few other people, I told, like, I made a post saying that when I was at 2.2 or 2.5 or some followers, I said, like, I'm going to post for 90 days. I'm not going to look at anything else. I'm just going to post 90 days. And then that 90 days, after 30 days, I knew that 90 days is going to get easy. Another thing is about content ideas. Oh yeah, it's easy. It's easy because once you do 30, 40 days, 90 days, you'll be surprised. You have to have again faith in your faith in universe, faith in your own creativity. Everything will fall in place, and then you will be bombarded with, like, some days I couldn't sleep. Like in the middle of the night, I would wake up and type and keep the ideas. And then that was going to the other extreme. So then I realized, okay, that's too much, and then I found the balance. But you want to go to that space, you want to get obsessed and go to that space. Take a small time where you obsessively do that, and then gradually taper it down to where it sustains you, something like that.
Lovely. Beautiful. For people out there, if you're not there on Instagram, it's okay. If you're there on Instagram, it's okay. If you want to try this, it's okay. Everything's okay. You don't have to feel obligated by our conversation. We're just having
No, feel obligated.
point.
Just kidding.
Yes. My next question to you is, there are a lot of teachers out there who have been teaching for a while, okay, and they have been in their comfortable bubble where they have been teaching a set of students, and they are okay with the number of students they are, but back of the mind they always wanted to scale, but they don't know what is the way to scale, where is the way to go about it, what is the next thing, because they have a certain set of students and they are comfortable with it, but they, in the back of the mind, they also want to do something more to get themselves out there, but they're clueless. So what is your suggestion in that case for someone who's just stagnant with where they are right now as a yoga teacher?
Okay, so the question is, how do we scale for a new teacher or someone who wants to scale? How do we scale? That is the question. Sorry, that's a secret I can't share. No, just kidding. Like I said, right? Like, I've been through various stages where um, I've felt insecure. I felt there's this beautiful terminology I recently found out about. It's called as imposter syndrome. Yeah, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve. Right? I mean, like, imposter syndrome is there. There's one more thing. I got envious. I got jealous. I felt greedy. So if you're going through all of these, it's totally, I'm not saying it's okay. I mean, I look at how do I transform it rather than suppress it, rather than again adding another layer of worry about, oh my God, why am I having all this? So if you're going through all this, just it's fine. It's there. What else can you do about it? Now you can look at transforming and transcending it. Now Once you're okay with all this, now you can look at
Okay,
strategic way
nice.
also. Sorry, is this all okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now you are back. Yes.
Oh, okay. So all that emotions being okay. Now coming to scaling, there are two approaches for everything. One is heart and one is the head. Yeah, both are important. Some days you'll resonate a lot with heart. Some days you'll resonate a lot with head. Head is nothing but cold strategic approach. Heart is nothing but just heart. Don't do any strategy. Just purely connect with your students. Purely connect with your students, and then ask yourself and ask yourself two things: is like, what is it that I can do for this person to go from, अच्छा हिंदी में बोलना, ठीक है कोशिश करता हूँ, हाँ ठीक है. तो ask yourself from your ask yourself that what can I do for this person to go from point A to point B. अपने आप से पूछो कि क्या कर सकते हैं उनका लाइफ बेटर हो जाए. पॉइंट ए टू पॉइंट बी जाने के लिए आप पूछ सकते हो अपने आप. द आंसर विल कम. दिल से अगर पूछ रहे हो, दिल से, लाइक इफ यू आर टेकिंग फ्रॉम द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द हार्ट, your heart will answer. Sometime in meditation answer will come, and then follow it. Now cold strategic approach, make sure to do follow-ups, make sure to, everybody is busy, everybody who's reached out to you wants to practice yoga with you, everybody who is practicing yoga with you want their family and friends to also join, and they want to enjoy it, but they're just taken over by life, taken over by busy life. They have so many competingly good things which is hitting at them, just like you are. So you have to take a point saying that I'm going to take 1 hour in a day. If it's too much, half an hour in a day. If it's too much, 15 minutes a day. Yeah. If that is also too much, maybe 1 hour in a week. You can figure out a process and keep that process wherein you do follow ups. You do follow up very intelligently. Again, see, there are copywriting techniques, follow up techniques which is out there on Instagram. I'm talking about cold hearted approach, right? I don't do I did I've arrived at a cold hearted approach after I applied heartful approach, because that's the reason why I quit corporate job, and then I came to this because I came to yoga teaching, is because I want to do something just heartful. So I personally would ask myself, if I was me, how would I like to be contacted by, followed up by? So I would say, hey, listen, I know that you probably wanted to do, but life took over. What's happened? Second time, third time, they'll be like, so nobody really cares. Okay, then they get an idea that, okay, someone really cares. That's the first time. Um, this is what you do with the leads or someone who's reaching out to you, and your regular practitioners. You gotta have a plan for them all the time. That is not that difficult. Okay, you can definitely do it. It's not very difficult. You just have to sit. You just have to think. What can I? How can I make this person's life from point A to point B? And then don't leave it at that. Yeah. If you're not there, if you're going to teach only for a short term, if you're not there, then uh, how can they handle it on their own? Don't just leave it at that. And thirdly, if you're going to do this for a long term, keep a list and then follow up with them. Don't put it in your head. Don't put it in your memory. That's not a very reliable tool, at least for me. So what you can do is you need to check in and see, okay, how's this person doing? How's that person doing? How's that person doing? uh, if you notice in all of this, I did not bring up money. Yeah, I strongly believe that when you do the work, wealth is going to follow you. But I'm not saying that you don't look at your Excel sheet and look at the money. You should have that as a goal. Every time I looked at wealth as a goal, after a point of time, I get drained out. मुझे जमता नहीं. Like, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I've tried. I've been driven by. I try to get into stock markets. I try to get into bitcoins. I've done money. I've done intelligent decisions too. I'm like any human being. I would want money. I want to fly first class. I want to be able to fly anytime I want to fly. I don't want to worry about having to buy expensive gadgets. Right. I'm still in Kali Yuga. I'm still in materialistic world. Right. So I'm not ascended to the next level. So we all yoga teachers. We have to admit that, but at the same time you don't have to glorify it. You can just be aware of it. But whenever I'm driven by it for a long time, I feel vacant. So what you do is, the idea of building community kind of motivates me. The idea of these kind of heartful follow-ups motivates me and helps me. And finally, I'm building up to this because it all should start with the last question. This is what I'm going to say. It all builds up to the last question, but this is what you start with. I know it's a little difficult. What do you want to do? Like, how do you want your yoga space to look like? What does it look like 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line? What all things should happen in that space, in your presence? क्या होना चाहिए आपके योगा स्टूडियो में, योगा स्पेस में, योगा स्टूडेंट्स का, कम्युनिटी का क्या होना चाहिए? एक विजन होनी चाहिए. You need to have a vision, and then you can boil it down. Um, yeah. Is this okay? Did I do? I went all over, or did I say it decently?
No, I loved it. I like it. I love that the fact that you're being transparent about so much stuff, and people have to admit that we are in Kali Yuga. We are in a place where even if you are yoga teachers, you cannot live without having your economical life little to a balanced state. You cannot be just in the Himalayas if you want to still be connected to
Can I add one
the
more thing?
metropolitan cities. Yes.
Yeah. If you want to build business or make money through yoga teaching, please stop offering free yoga classes. If you want to do it as a seva, it works. Yeah. But don't be in a delusion that you offer free classes, the same people will pay later. No, they will not.
Never value it.
Yeah, they will not. If you are doing it because you want to get trained, yeah, if you're doing it, people got this. They are afraid to charge, they are afraid to quote it, they are afraid to be judged, but they put it in a very beautiful way wherein I want to do it as seva, or I want to do it because I want to give, I want to do it because I want to get trained. Yeah. You can delude yourself, but you can't delude, your, you can't delude people, right? A lot of people talk to me and say that and all. I just see through it. Like, if you talk to a good yoga mentor or yoga teacher, they will see through it. Your yoga teachers, your gurus, they will also not advocate for this. If you want to do it genuinely for free purposes and that's there, then I understand it completely. Like, for example, my wife, when she does, she takes classes with me. I don't pay her. All my teachers get paid, huh? Just so you know, if all my teachers, if you're watching, yeah, Neelam doesn't get paid. But she's so driven. She's driven and she loves teaching. She gets so much energy out of it. I'm like, I love it. I don't know if I'll be driven like that. Yeah, but
Wow.
if to each their own. So having said that, please don't be like you're going to convert the free paying students into paying. Sorry, what did I say? Huh? Free and non paying students into they will end up paying. Don't delude yourself. That's not the world we live in. You're saying something. I cut you off. Sorry. You're saying something about Himalayas.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying that I'm liking how this is going already. I love the pace of it, and I also resonate with the fact that I remember starting as a teacher where I taught a couple of friends. Yes, and I think that's how I suggest people to get familiar with rather than being out there. But teaching a couple of friends, but having that said thing that you are teaching as a teacher. Nothing is, even if it's your again, with family I have no comments, with friends I have no comments, but the moment you start giving it out for free, it's difficult for them to quote a price at it. Like for them, if you had already given it for free for a long duration, forget even short, if you've given it for a long duration, it is, I won't say impossible because it's a very negative word, but it's not a great experience to convert them into subscribing students, because you will realize why we are saying that, because it's coming from experience, I personally believe. Yeah, I think it's a said, if you want to experience this, go for it, but don't do it with a large number of crowd, because it's a large number of crowd to convert into a subscription. And if you want to make it like a earning, if it's your bread and butter, I know as yoga teachers, people expect us to not be very business minded and not be very out there. And I agree to it to a certain level that yes, there are a lot of people, you shouldn't enter into the world of, we were talking about, RCP was talking the same thing yesterday, that if you want to enter into the world of yoga as an expectation of earning out of it, then don't get into yoga. Yoga is a place where you start teaching with the act of being open to teaching. The teaching is the passion that you should be there, sharing as much as you can. That is something that should drive you. And eventually, once you find the groove in it, hang in it, then if you want to switch into making it a business for you, makes sense. But if you start with a very business mind, I don't know how it goes for it, because I have no idea, but I wouldn't recommend it for someone who's just beginning as a yoga teacher to enter into the world with that expectation. Yes. Lovely. So the next thing that I wanted to ask you, like you already mentioned so much, and I wanted to, on the similar line, people have this expectation that they being the brand of themselves, like how you have Yogi Santa as your own brand. You are your own brand. People know you. But why do you still need that Chakra project? Like people want to continue with their own brand name, and which is fair. We are going in a little technical on a marketing aspect, and I don't want that marketing aspect. I want to know why you chose to not go with Yogi Santa because that was working so much for you, and why did you wanted Chakra project as a name for you?
Mm. I'll be very honest. This is not like a well thought out thing or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I started Chakra project thing because I wanted it to become something bigger than me. I wanted it to something which is independent of me. Yeah. And earlier there were only two passions that I had, which was to teach yoga and earn money only till a point where I could travel a bit. I can sustain the travel. I would travel. I had a lot of joy in traveling, meeting new people, learning, but that has subsided a bit. That desire to travel has subsided a bit. Um, but that's where it started from. And then I learned from Naval Ravikant. I'm a huge fan of Naval Ravikant, and he said about something about having your own brand and how people relate to that a lot more. Then I realized that there is a lot more risk I can take with my name rather than the Chakra project's name, right? I can continue to serve whatever I want to serve via Chakra project name, but I can do a lot of risky stuff which is on me, right? And
Correct.
I think I keep trying on new things, which is potentially risky, things which some people or industry experts say not to do. I end up doing that because, again, heart versus head, many times heart should win. Yes,
Correct.
sure, head should also win sometimes, but I think that when I look back at it, I think that's one of the distinction markers where it is there. So when I started Yogi Santa, people ask, so Chakra project it's going to change into Yogi Santa? No, Chakra project it's going to extend, it's going to remain, and it's going to continue to offer. Like in my classes, in my online platform, in my so Chakra project has various teachers, right? Like we have a roster of active teachers of 7, 8 right now, and so many are so competingly good. I'm so proud of how they have transformed into. In terms of practice, also they are so sincere, and the way they have blossomed into teachers is just amazing. And I feel like um, I cannot be a top limit there. It has to grow beyond. And then on personal front, I do a lot of stuff which I get to experiment. I get to do things in Yogi.Santa, Yogi Santa brand. Um, Maybe I don't know if I can give a blanket answer to everyone what is the best way to go, but I hope this answer helps in making a decision for.
But I like the line that you said, which actually justifies the whole thing. It's like you can take risk from your own page, from your own personal brand, and the Chakra project can work independently, even if you are not around. That's the beauty. Like you have a community that is made that can solely be there, even when you are there and not there, in or out. You can let it functioning, and your own band can be a place where you can experiment, which makes so much more sense for everyone. I think that's one of the biggest reason even I have yoga endless with me, being because I, as a personality, individual personality, I have so much that I want to do, and I cannot bombard everything into my yoga world. Like I cannot upload all the time me dancing videos, my travel videos, and which is why I prefer it to be two separate segments where yoga endless can work independently, even with or without my existence. And which is what I wanted to understand. It's just me thinking this way, or people have the same mindset, and I clearly can see it's on a very similar track. Which gets me to this interesting bit that you said that you love attending these workshops and retreats and everything. So in the span of so many years, what is that one realization that came to you with all these workshops, that every person should definitely attend these kinds of workshop, or this workshop, or like this life building workshop, or life coaching workshop, or this workshop? There's several things that people come across. What is one thing or two things that you want to recommend that people should start doing, start attending more?
When your loved one comes and says that, hey, do this, just do it. They know you
Interesting.
better. They can't explain it better. A lot of times I've done because of that. Sometimes there were people kind enough saying that, because you asked me one thing, because there's so much I can talk, but I'm picking the topmost and which will hit on everything, which is uh, uh, so there is informational and then there is transformational. Yeah, in terms of education, there is informational and there is transformational, right? When I did this TTC in India Yoga, like the level 1 and level 2 was more informational for me, level 1 was transformational for me, right? So if people ask me which one you prefer, I'll be like level 1 is transformational, is a lot more, and then informational I can still learn here and there, that's there. So for me
Absolutely.
personally, like transformational stuff is a lot more, because transformation क्या होता है, जो दिल के ऊपर, like things surrounding the kachada surrounding the heart gets removed in transformational workshop, right? Informational is like, you pick it up, you collect it. So that a lot of blind spots are involved, and we can't do it ourselves. Someone has to, some coach, some mentor will have to help you remove the blind spots. So yeah, does it qualify as an answer?
It does. I mean, it does in the aspect that people, I don't know. Initially, I had this thought process as a yoga teacher is to chase informational adventures. I call it adventures because they made no sense. And I mean, people are not familiar with my background because there's not just dancing to it. But of course, I have always chased informational.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you again. I remembered
Sorry.
one more thing.
Yeah, tell me.
I want to hear what you got to say, but at the same time, I just want to complete the thought, which is why transformational? Because you should teach from your truth, not from someone else's truth. And I'm telling you, you sure has some truths to teach, and we should all be honest in learning, because information, Google, ChatGPT, AI, sab mein hai information. But what's your truth? When you teach, your presence, your energy, your chakras, it's gonna have a different impact. That's what you should strive for, rather than collecting information and doing it. Don't worry about collecting information. Just be very honest to yourself on what you know, what you don't know. What's going to happen? Next question will show up saying that, okay, this is what I don't know, this is what I want to learn. You will attract universals and things on your way, and then you'll attract the right kind of student to you, and then you will teach them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off again, but continue with what you're saying.
No, absolutely. No, I was also heading in a similar direction. I was saying that I've always chased informational aspects in my life because I've always been such a tremendous amount of, should I say, I've been the biggest seeker for myself. And I've always wanted to seek from every corner in the process, which made me realize that information pool is endless.
Yeah.
The more you go into it, you'll realize you know nothing and you have been going there. So that path is always there for you. But transformational path is something that can help you at the current moment for your future. Informational is there and you should never stop seeking information, but you should give importance to the transformation. Like I know a lot of people who would not want to go to a career building workshop or say a life building workshop or a holistic workshop. But the difference is not what they're giving. You might have all the information that they're giving in that workshop. You might already know. But the way they offer it to you, the way they cultivate the whole program for you might help you as a teacher on a personal level.
And there are so many underlying meta learnings you pick it up. Meta learnings, as in one of the best thing I learned is, so there are two things I learned in this is why these really realized wise beings have so much sense of humor. And then, like, sense of humor, to have sense of humor is a high state of intelligence. Whoa, just hit me hard, like, because everyone can actually be funny when they're very light. Yeah, like even the some people, like, very very light space. The more and more you become light, the more and more you relate to everyone, and you become relatable, and you just crack jokes randomly, and it cracks you up on others as well. uh, why did I bring that up? That's because this is an important aspect. You become very light as a, you pick up. So this is one thing I picked up from one of the seminar I attended for life fixing. I went in all serious, but he was joking, was cracking, but a lot of drama, a lot of magic happened in that space. And then I was like, oh, this is another way to teach. This way is like gets closer. I'm like, and then I realized I was not only attending that, I was also picking up data, how to become a better teacher, how to communicate better, because that is also very very important to me in my line of work, right? Yeah. So such kind of
Absolutely.
meta learnings happen which you can't even put a pin on.
Yes. Yeah, so basically, both of us suggesting to our audience that go to seminars that are not related to your current learning
Yeah.
background.
On
So,
that
the
note,
seminars that are not related to the
any
current
workshop that
field.
we put it
Yes.
up, make sure you sign up.
Sorry?
On that
Can you come
note, to the
again? No
audience,
worries.
no, I'm telling to the audience, and on that note, any workshop that me or Anjali put it up, you just sign up. Hashtag
Yes, that's a
subtle
secret
plug.
option. See, that's the benefit of sneaking in it from the fun bit. Yeah, you don't have to feel. Never feel hesitant in putting yourself out there. That's what I have learned from the process. That it's you who can do it for you. How much managers you hire, how much salespeople you hire. If you cannot confidently put yourself out there, no one can do it for you. So you have to do it for yourself first, then expect a team to do it for you. And then you can guide them to how to do it for you. Even if they're experienced for themselves in their journal, in their matter. Yes, lovely. I wanted to understand that. Did you just mention you've done like a life coaching seminar or a workshop? Can you tell us about that? Why did you go there in the first place, and what was the motivation? What is
Suffering.
that one thing?
Suffering.
Okay.
Deep, profound, soul level suffering, because uh, I was a software engineer and I got placed. I did engineering at a very prestigious college. So parents are proud now. Yeah, like taking back to my, my rewinding to my history of it. Second, like I got into a prestigious college. That itself should make me happy, but I was happy for temporarily and then became miserable again. Then happened good placement in college. I was happy, and then again became miserable. Unhappy with the boss, with the manager. Complained to HR and changed the team. Misery became happy, became again misery, like some vacancy was there. Then I switched career thinking yoga is going to help me. Very happy. But the same problems happened there also. Like the boss didn't like me. So if bosses don't like me, that means there's not problem with the boss. Somewhere else there's like, yeah, it's just like, you don't want to look at yourself. Oh, me, I have to look at myself. Okay. Yeah. So then, see, when there is ignorance, there's going to be suffering. Yeah, they say ignorance is bliss. Again, that's temporarily, but ignorance is gonna lead to suffering one day or the other. It's gonna get into a profound suffering. So a lot of things I did not know. I thought I am this and that. I don't think I still know a lot about myself still, maybe. So yeah, one day I went to teach yoga and I couldn't go up to. It was a personal client, and I couldn't go up to his house. I just sat there um, at the garden in his big society. I started crying. I just don't want to do this anymore. I didn't want to do anything. That's the sad part. It's not the yoga teaching. It's not the software writing. I don't want to do anything. So deep, profound suffering that was there, and I sat for a while. I did tell that I won't be able to make it, and then I just couldn't do anything else. Right. Then I realized one of my friends told me about life coaching and certain programs and all. I did that, and then there you end up looking at yourself and a lot of ignorance when it's removed. Again, see, ultimately everything comes back to spiritual knowledge. Like if nothing, imbibe. Right now, I'm listening to Prasadji's Gita and I'm like imbibing and incorporating it. Everything is like at some point of time, all knowledge is gonna look similar. Like when what Patanjali says, leave the concept of what he talks about siddhis and all, leave that. But in overall sense, removing suffering, what needs to be done, knowing yourself. what Gita, what Arjuna, what mm, Krishna says in Gita to Arjuna, what these personal development or programs which teach you. Ultimately, it's all about accepting yourself to the deepest, truest core, and knowing yourself, knowing and accepting. Then it becomes a play. Yeah. So yeah. Ultimately. I don't know. A lot of people. In fact, I had this friend. I had a friend in this college where we both had this conversation about yoga and deeper meaning of life and suffering. There's other friend who's very content with the regular aspect of life, which is paisa banao, bacha, like take have kids, get a house. This usual scripted path which is there is comfortable with it. And there are some people now I realize they're very comfortable with it. And then there are some people who have this, the soul level restlessness that is there. You know, um, it's okay to let it be there. And then whenever that suffering goes too much, then I end up seeking coaches or like. So I did the program, and then I recently did a coaching with one of the persons, one-on-one coaching I hired and did. Uh, I keep doing these things. I have also coached a lot of people out of stuff. Like there was a friend who was having difficulty in drawing boundaries with people. I had a friend like who wanted to scale and build habit. And with all my students, I kind of help them in making them more and more consistent with yoga practice. How to change the way you look at it. So it's a two-way street. I also coach, but I also need to be coached, and I go through that all the time. And does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It does. Absolutely.
Suffering is the
Lovely.
thing, you gotta be okay with seeking. Don't push it down. And another thing, I don't want to go through medication. Meditation is better than medication. I'm not saying anything against the current this thing of uprising of how people want to treat their depression or feeling low or everything with medication. Sure, genuinely there are some people who need it, but right now there is a heavy marketing going on to get us addicted to pills, so that there is always income streams there for them. There is always things and situations around. I'm not going to call it evil, which is going to want to take you into their things, right? And get you addicted to that. You got to be watchful of it. And if not, this something or the other will always exist. So be watchful of it and try to become a complete holistic self just by within yourself and the smallest possible ecosystem that you can create for yourself. From there, you build that hardcore solid thing, like and not dependent on any external thing. Like I mean, I had this thing about certain thing about alcohol. I had reliance on it. I had reliance on certain drugs, and I had like I enjoyed the world of Prakriti and every way possible and all that. Then little by little, I reduced. Yoga path is definitely going to help a lot of people. I've met a lot of people who had come from rehab in the path of yoga. And so people go to dark extremes, but I kind of like it also because like people dare to do such things. They're not like afraid of life. They do, but sometimes it needs a little direction, and then they get into the path of yoga, and and then I realized, wow, interesting. You had to go there to get here, and then they're a lot more aligned, a lot more centered. Some are still struggling. The idea is reduce the ragas and dveshas as much as you can be aware of it. Sorry, it's again going into the ragas and dvesha, nothing but like cravings and aversions. We are driven by likes and dislikes and cravings and aversions. So when you become aware of it, reduce it as much as you can. Yeah. Right now, my major raga is chai. Chai is something I removed a lot of addictions from my life, but there are certain things which is still there. I'm like, okay, I'll do it at my pace. I try to reduce, but it's okay.
There's a coffee culture for Ashtangis also. I mean, I fall in a place where I live on juices and fruit juices, and I am since childhood. I'm glad my parents never introduced me to tea or coffee. So I'm like, when I travel, all I need is a bottle of water, and even if that's not there, I'll hunt a coconut water or a fruit juice or something like that. But that's all I need, and if nothing given, I can survive without anything. So I feel so happy about that.
It's a superpower.
Yeah, that's like an achievement, it's like a complex feeling. It's like, I'm not dependent on any of this. It's okay, you have to work on it, but I don't have to do that because I'm not dependent. I did get it while my dancing time. I did get into black coffee quite a bit. And it was like a culture, like where people who could not start their body, could not start their systems. Like they needed a reboot in the name of black coffee without sugar, just like that too, not the normal real coffee. It's those instant coffee, which is so bad for you. Like in the water, sip it, get it done, and it's like quick freshness, which is so bad for you. But I'm glad I'm not into it anymore. It was just a company that was like, okay, let me try. It's okay. But with coming to that, I know we're running out of time, so
Maybe we can keep it for part two, wherein this brings in the idea of Sangha, like having the community and Sangha, the right kind of people around. We could
correct.
talk a lot about it. I don't know if you had that as a question, but yeah, if it is, like maybe we could talk about it next time.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I would love to add that into our current list. But with that, I want to ask you one last question, which has been my question to you is, you say you have a set of teachers within you. Okay. And normally with yoga teachers, this insecurity creeps up to them that when they start mentoring another teacher into their journey, or if I should say mentoring is the right word or not, but if they start getting another teacher under their hood and they start investing in them, training them, in current times, it's so disheartening that it's Kali Yuga. It's not Satyug when you can actually accept someone saying, whatever words they are taking out from their mouth, it cannot be taken directly. Because there is no point of stand to whatever they're saying. It can be flipped at any given point of time. And still, as yoga teachers, it does not. I have not reached to that place where I get into agreements and contracts and place where I would say you have to sign this agreement and then I will invest in you, which makes the whole setting very I don't know, very very headed and not hearted. Which you just said, very headed and not hearted. So, what is your way to perceive this, and how did you crack it for you in this process?
I'm lucky. Yeah, is that
That
enough?
is another thing. That is another thing. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I got lucky, I guess. But see, I have been through the stages of agreements and all don't work. People don't necessarily honor it, and it's okay. We don't need to get into that. I've been to the stage where someone betrayed me also. Yeah, I think in life you will end up betraying unknowingly or unknowingly. You'll betray someone. You will get betrayed. Everything that is to happen will happen. You'll get into disagreements. Best friends will turn into enemies or like someone whom you align with. But then I think one metric which is there is, can you work with them long term? Can you become friends with them? Can you become, you know, do you like them as a person? Just work with them. Not others. Everybody. I mean, it's not easy to do that. There are people I still work with whom I'm not majorly friends with, but at least I respect them. They should have some level of value, some level of, and every single one who did not fit in this category, they moved away. And also know this: everything is temporary. Don't. In fact, whoever comes in as how I tell them, please steal any of your students, any of the clients if you want. Steal it. मैं ये नहीं बोलता हूँ कि करना तो करो नहीं ले जाओ because if they resonate with you and they want to learn with you, all the more better. Universe will
Absolutely.
give me 10 more, and it has been giving me, it has been treating me lucky. I mean, it was not like this all the time. I was insecure, I was worried, all that was happening. But after a point of time I realized jitna bhi you wanna, this dil chata hai line mein, she just nonchalantly drops this beautiful wisdom. You try to hold the sand, it's just gonna go. Just hold it, it'll happen. But it's not easy, yaar. It's not easy to apply. When you're in a very good state of meditation, you can just have that knowledge. Not all the time that you are like aware in that way. And um, uh, you should strive for training. You should strive for, if you want to grow, you should have a team around. But then again, build it very slowly, gradually. Give them a lot of option to not work with you whenever they don't want to. Give them a direction, give them a growth path, show them you care, show them that this is what I'm envisioning for us. this is where you are at, this is where I'm seeing you 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line. But don't get scared thinking that I'm making 2 year plan. Relationship maybe itna nahi hota hai. In yoga teacher listing, why would you want to do that? But then I'm saying that let's do it as a 1 month thing and see if it works out. Another thing I clearly tell everyone I work with is, see, there are places where, and I don't know, I'm gonna be unfair to you, and I'm gonna unfair to me, right? It's your responsibility and my responsibility to make sure that it is maintained fair on both the sides. Otherwise, what's going to happen is one day either of us is going to wake up and then realize that we've had the unfair end of the deal and we're going to call it, right? Everything I'm investing in, I'm looking at it as long term, but let's take it 1 month at a time. This is my desire. Doesn't mean that that's how it has to be, because we build it up slowly, gradually. We'll work with long term. Anytime there is a little discrepancy coming up, let's talk it out. Let's see what to do, how to take it forward and stuff. And communication is important. Don't be like try to take the maximum out of that equation. Give, like, let it be 50-50. That is what is good for long term. We are in a collaborative world. We're not in competitive world. Collaboration is what works. Let it be 50-50, because 2 years down the line you shouldn't feel like मैं इतना दिया देखो लेके भाग गई. You shouldn't feel like that one day. So make sure that you're not treating yourself unfairly either. Treat yourself fair and come up with a number. There'll be negotiations around. I did interview some people, and then they were like saying, no, this is not my current pricing. This is the current pricing. This is what I would do. I'm like, no, it won't work. Then you're like, I do want to work with you. Can we do something else? Chalo, theek hai. Let's try it for a while. For this extra money, this is what I expect you to do. If you don't, then we'll bring it back to this. Uh, you know, yeah, have a term. Also be willing to look at it. Don't get into long term terms, like forever terms. Always have an end point, which is 6 months term. You don't need to necessarily write it as a contract, but write it in WhatsApp and keep it so that you can refer to that, or send that screenshot. It's always good to write it and keep it somewhere. Don't do it as a contract. It's not because of something legal. It's because our memories can betray us every now and then. All right. It's not for protecting ourselves from others. It's protecting ourselves from ourselves. I don't know. Does that count? I haven't really thought through. As you asked me this question, I'm just giving it as an answer. Whatever I did, I'm just sharing it transparently. So I hope it helped.
Yeah, but it's interesting that you say make them as your friends, make them as your acquaintances.
At least someone you respect.
Someone who you can respect. But it's such a thin line, where especially like I see in metropolitan cities in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, that teachers are very friendly to their students, which is not in other cities and other places. Okay, I've especially learned this from my current year of traveling all across, that people have a very formal setting with their student, where they teach you have that boundary of teacher and student, and then you have questions you ask me, and then you go. And there are perks to that as well. There are reasons to that as well. But in cities like we are right now, Bangalore, Mumbai, it's such a thin line where once you become friends to a student, they start having certain expectations from you, and they forget that you were a teacher in the first place, which is weird. I mean, for me, I don't know how you take that through, because I see you're pretty comfortable with your students being friends to you.
I struggled a lot,
which is
yeah.
amazing. I mean, I have most of my students as my friends. They were my peers, they were my colleagues, they were my seniors that I'm teaching right now, which is such an amazing thing. So yeah, that my last thought towards what do you have to say for this thin line
personal
between
boundaries nahi hai to it will get difficult, because either you will take advantage of them or they will take advantage of you, and either way you're going to end up feeling bitter, if not them also. Having clear boundaries is needed. That's where the personal development program helps a lot. I think yoga mein, philosophy mein baithna bhi acha hai. Like, you need to like sit and be with the philosophical aspects, the scriptural aspect of yoga. I used to think it now I shouldn't be friends with people who are my students and all. I dropped that idea. Why not? Like, where is it written? What's there? Because as long as you have principles and you live by them, you're good to go. And whatever you're not doing, no, it's going to show up somewhere or the other. Learn along the way. Have that clear demarcation. There are some family members. Uh, I struggle to charge them. They're like, no, no, please take it. You're putting an effort for me. Yeah, take the money. I'm like, okay, no, I wanna. Yeah, and then I struggle with it still. And then there are some friends I don't know. I even tell them, this is a better yoga teacher. You can go to. I want to tell them, let's
That's
make
such a good way to dodge that.
let us maintain that equation because I kind of want this friendship a lot more. And
More,
a lot of my
yeah.
students turn into friends, and friends turning into students, college friends. They are so sweet, yeah. I'm lucky because they didn't even ask a lot of time. They just pay up. They just don't. They're like friends with me. They don't even bring it up. Ki, Arey, friends family discount hai kya karke they sweetly ask, and I know where they're coming from. I tell them you name the price sometime, and then that is also a wrong approach because people can't really name it. It's getting difficult. So this is another advice. If someone says discount, you will end up having to give discount every now and then. You only retain the price and say this is it. Let them come back. There's a side note in case for yoga teachers if you want. Do that. Don't make them make that. Yeah, have boundaries. Every now and then journal करो. लिखो कि कहाँ पे. Oh yeah, yeah. Especially people in relationships also know what's going to happen in that is if you are like working with them also and closely someone you are in relationship, write down very clearly where are you not okay with this particular person, where are you okay with that person, like write it down. You'll have so much clarity and you'll know what to do. Otherwise, what will happen is you will get mad at them for them doing something nice and it's gonna turn really bad. So you want to have a clear write down. Whoever is becoming your good friend, write it down. Maybe it's a little nerdier approach, a little more geekier
I
and
love
a
it.
little more engineering an approach. But yeah, it worked for me. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love the idea of journal. I mean, I journal all the time.
Wow.
And I have very weird ways of journaling, and it has some other reasons why I began it. I began journaling for my memory, and it did a wonders. And that's a different technique altogether. I did a timestamp technique to help me with my memory, and now I have a memory of a week long as well, where I couldn't remember what I ate for my lunch. To remembering stuff till a week is like a long way, but I think journaling is altogether a different topic, but it's an old school technique that works for some people and that cannot work for some people. Completely depends. But yeah, I like the point where you said when you shifted your friends to some other teachers. I mean, I do that all the time, not purposely. Like I always am very open to giving
No,
teachers
I'm not endorsing that.
recommendation.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not endorsing that. I tried. It
Yeah.
doesn't work necessarily. It doesn't go as per the way they relate with you as a teacher only. Um, I don't know. Maybe.
No, I mean, I do that with my mother. Like, I
Ha.
don't teach my mother. I personally never teach my mother. It's like ghar ki murgi, like it's like that, And I take her. I literally go take her. Like you pay as much as you want, as expensive it is, but pay and do it to someone who you listen to. Because to me, you're not giving me any bhav, and for her, I think she thinks that. I mean, a lot of people, especially family members, when they see us doing advanced posture, they think like, "Oh, I cannot do all of that." And it's like that's not what I teach. That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, but you cannot explain it to them. But it's okay. But I like the fact that you have to be open. Like to a lot of teachers, I want to say that be open with giving out a reference to another teacher. Don't hold it back because you don't want to give someone else's reference. Instead, bindas, give it to someone else. And with friends and family, I struggle big time. Like I don't. I was like, okay, you come to a group class that I'm teaching, just do it if you want to. If you don't want to, it's okay. But getting into monetary side to that, even I struggle big time till date. So it's a struggle to a lot of teachers. I agree on a family level, family and business level. I keep it aside. It's like just do the existing classes and see how you feel about it. But yeah, I don't talk monetary to them as well. So yeah, interesting. Nice to hear that it's not just me in that place getting awkward with monetary settings. Lovely. Thank you so much, Santa, for having this Christmas start beautifully done with this amazing conversation. Where is my gift, Mr. Santa? I'm just kidding. Thank you. You showing up for this beautiful talk is a gift to me, and we definitely will schedule another be present episode with Be Transparent people and being here with our transparent self as much as we can. And I'm looking forward to listening so much more from you. I know there's so much more stories that can be uncovered and unraveled here on these talks. So, yeah, thank you so much for doing this. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.
You're very welcome, and I had so much of a blast. What an intelligent way of asking questions, and you have a great listening as well. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And hopefully, season 2 of this particular thing will definitely come.
Yes. More luck.
Thank you.
I
Have a
look
great
forward to
day.
your
Bye
other
bye.
guests in the series. I look forward to everyone who's watching this. Make sure to follow, and then she's planning to do it as a series, and there are very interesting guests which are there, and yeah, it's going to be fun. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, everyone.
Namaste and
And
thank
see
you
you
guys.
in the
Bye.
next episode. Thank you. Bye bye.